if we want to find the greatest common factor between two numbers, first we want to figure out what does it mean to be a factor. You will commonly hear that factors fit. Now, if this glass right here holds 24 ounces, I can fill up this one with 24 ounces and I can dump it into this one. I'm not going to spill any. So 24 fits into 24. Now, if I get a glass that's larger than this and I fill it up and I try to pour it into this one, it's going to spill over. So anything bigger than 24 is not going to fit into this one. Now, if I grab another cup and let's say this cup holds 20. If I fill it up once and I dump it in, so far it has not overflowed because this one holds 24. But if I fill this one up again with 20 and I dump all of it in, I'm dumping in 20 and another 20 is 40, it's going to overflow this glass. So 20 does not fit into 24. Some other numbers that fit into 24, let's say that I have a smaller cup and I don't have an extra one here, but let's say that I have a cup that holds 12. If I fill up the cup that holds 12 and I dump it in, there's 12 in here so far. I fill this 12 cup up again and dump it in. 12 plus 12 is 24. It's completely full, nothing spilled out, so 12 fits into 24. Now, if we have two numbers here, greatest common factor, we want the biggest number that fits into both. In other words, what cup can I use to fill them both up? So your strategy to find it is you're going to take your numbers, so 6, and you're going to make a factor tree. So thinking of two numbers that multiply together to get 6 are 2 and 3. I cannot use the number 1 in my factor tree. So if I try to think of two numbers that multiply together to get 3, it's only 1 and 3, so I can't do any more. Same thing with 2, it's only 1 times 2. So my factor tree is complete, and I move on to the next one. So thinking of two numbers that multiply together to get 12, one person might say 2 times 6, another person might say 3 times 4. It doesn't matter which ones you decide on. I went with 3 and 4. And then I keep going. The number 4 is 2 times 2. So 2 times 2. The number 3 is a prime number. I can't think of anything that multiplies together to get 3 other than 1 and 3. So I need to bring that one down. Notice every row equals the original number. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 12. So if we're looking for what's in common to both, notice I've circled the 3 because they both have a 3. And I've circled a 2 because they both have a 2. So 3 times 2, and then I end up with 6, and that's the greatest common factor. I drew a picture to help you understand again what that means. If my original is a 6 and a 12, I have a cup that holds 6 and I have a cup that holds 12. If I pour 6 into 6, it fills the cup up and it does not overflow. So 6 fits into 6. If I have a cup that holds 12 and I pour a cup with 6 in it, it's up to 6. I pour in another 6 and now it's up to 12. So it did not overflow. So 6 also fits into 12. 6 is the biggest number that fits into both. Now a shortcut that you can be on the lookout for is if the smallest number fits into the bigger number, then the smaller number is the greatest common factor. So notice 6 does fit into 12, so 6 is my answer. Because the biggest thing that could fit into 6 is 6, so it's already like the biggest number that would work for this one. And since the biggest number works for 6 also works for 12, it must be the greatest common factor. So if you look out just immediately when you look at the problem, if the small one fits into the big one, then the small one is the answer. The other little thing that you should be on the lookout for is you start making the tree and you're like, okay, 10, I'm gonna go with 2 times 5. And for 21, I go with 3 times 7. And you start looking for what's in common to both. 2 and 5, 3 and 7. I can't circle anything in both of them. And then maybe you're stuck. But remember, the meaning of a greatest common factor is what's the biggest number that fits into both. And so when the biggest one that fits into both, what's the number I can't use in a factor tree? And that's why it doesn't show up. 1 is the biggest number that fits. If I try to fill a glass that holds 21 using a cup with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, it overflows. 2 is not a factor of 21. It is a factor of 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and it doesn't overflow. Okay, so make your factor tree, circle what's in common, multiply those together and get your answer. But if you don't see anything in common, then 1 is the biggest thing that fits.